Hello friends, welcome to Maureen Ogogo Short Stories channel. Kindly watch, subscribe and share with friends and families. The Girl Who Dreamed Beyond the Hills, Part 6. The bus rattled along the winding roads leading out of the village, its old tires bouncing over potholes that seemed as wide as her fear. Ada sat by the window, gripping the edges of a small, worn leather bag that held all she owned. Inside were just two dresses, a pair of weathered sandals, a tiny notepad, and a carefully folded wrapper, faded but strong, that her father had once gifted to her mother. As her mother pressed it into her hands before departure, she had whispered, "Wear this when it gets tough. It carries strength." Ada was on her way to the nation's capital to represent her new school, Unity Girls High School, Enugu, at the National Essay Finals. Since leaving Umuoka, she had enrolled in Unity Girls through the scholarship she earned and worked part-time cleaning classrooms and offices to support herself. Life in the city was no less difficult, but she had adapted, surviving on grit and prayer. She had never traveled this far beyond her school and hostel. As the bus pushed into the heart of the capital, Ada's heart beat faster. From the window, the view changed. Yam fields faded into concrete jungles, quiet streams were replaced with bustling traffic, and the hills that had defined her childhood disappeared behind towering buildings and dusty billboards. When the bus finally halted, she stepped off into a whirlwind of honking horns, street vendors, and fast-paced strangers. The city was alive and relentless. Every step she took felt like a leap over fear. At the competition venue, a massive hall stood with banners fluttering above. Her eyes scanned the writing and stopped when she saw it. National Essay Finals. Celebrating tomorrow's leaders. And there, among other names, was hers, Ada is, Unity Girls High School, Enugu. She blinked back tears. Her assigned hostel room was simple but pristine. A single bed, clean white sheets, electricity, things she'd only dreamed of. But reality set in quickly. Her roommates were finalists from polished urban schools. They had sleek luggage, expensive gadgets, and conversations filled with big grammar and confidence. One girl turned to Ada, sizing her up. "Which school do you attend?" she asked, lips curled in mild amusement. "Unity Girls High School," Ada replied, adjusting her dress. The girl raised an eyebrow. "That's a government school, right?" The others whispered, some giggled. Ada didn't respond. That night, as the lights went out, she cried under her blanket, tears soaked with loneliness and the sting of feeling invisible. But by morning, something shifted. She woke early, washed her face, and tied her father's wrapper around her shoulders like armor. "You are not here by accident," she told her reflection. "You are here because you fought for it." The first stage of the competition was a private interview. A panel of judges, stern, curious, influential, asked deep questions about the country, her essay, her values. "What does resilience mean to you?" one judge asked. Ada straightened her back and answered from the soul. She spoke of waking before sunrise to fetch water, studying by kerosene light, walking miles barefoot to school in Umuoka, and now scrubbing floors after class in Unity Girls to pay for extra meals. She shared how she lost her father just before traveling for the finals. Her voice trembled, but her words carried the strength of generations. When she finished, there was silence. One of the judges wiped a tear. The next day was public speaking. Hundreds of eyes watched as Ada stood alone on the brightly lit stage. Her hands trembled at first. But when she began, it was as though her father's voice was whispering through her. "My name is Ada. I come from a place where dreams are planted in the soil and watered with sacrifice." She spoke of her village, her family, the struggles of rural children seeking education, and the belief that even the most forgotten corners of the country held diamonds waiting to shine. By the end of her speech, the hall erupted into a standing ovation. People cried. Journalists scribbled. Even her fellow contestants, those who once mocked her, applauded with genuine admiration. Later that night, as she waited alone for the results, her phone rang. It was her mother. "Your father would be proud," her mother said, voice soft yet full. "You've already made us proud, Ada. No matter what happens, never forget where you came from." Ada looked out of the window, lights from the city twinkling like stars on the earth. She remembered the hills, the farm, the feel of muddy roads under her feet. She remembered her father's voice telling stories by lantern light and her mother's weary hands that still worked to feed her siblings. And in that moment, Ada knew something deep in her bones: this was just the beginning. She wasn't just a girl who dreamed beyond the hills. She was becoming the girl who would change them,